Hola, estudiantes. We are going to talk about the verbs like gustar today. Now, on your secret stories, there were some of you that forgot how to form our verbs like gustar, so make sure that you are paying attention to these notes and jotting down any questions that you have and making sure that you ask in class. All right, so let's get started. First of all, what does gustar mean in English? ¿Qué significa en inglés? All right, it literally means to be pleasing to, but in English we say to like. All right, so there's a difference in translation from Spanish to English. All right, now let's talk about the rules. All right, this first idea is really important. It's kind of the foundation of the formation of our verbs like gustar. So remember, gustar agrees with the things or actions you are liking. Okay, think about that for just a second. It agrees with the things or actions you are liking. That means it does not agree with who is doing the liking, like our regular verb conjugations. So the form of gustar based on the things or actions you are liking. The conjugation is not based on who is doing the liking. Okay, it's different. So, also different is we use IOPs, not our subject pronouns. Okay, and let's talk about that. Remember, we've got me, te, le, nos, os, and les are our indirect object pronouns. And then finally, we do not use all 6 conjugations of our verb like gustar. We only use 2 forms, gusta and gustan. All right, so make sure you've got your notes filled out. Gustar is not the only verb that follows these rules. We are going to talk about 6 verbs today. Encantar, which means to delight, to be delighted by, or like to love an item or thing. Chocar is to dislike or hate, so it's on the other end of the spectrum. Importar, to be important to. Fascinar, to fascinate or be fascinated by. Interesar, to be interested in. And then the one that doesn't really fit into this idea of liking or interested in things is quedar, which means to fit. So we'll be talking about more or less clothing items with that verb. Okay? So our next step, I'm going to show you some sentences in Spanish, and we're going to dissect them and figure out why the sentence is set up in the way that it is. All right, so on your notes, you can write down either the translation if you like, or why the sentence is set up in the way it is. So it's up to you as to how your notes are going to be most beneficial for you. All right, so our first example, me encantan las sandalias. Why, think about this, why did we use the an conjugation, encantan, conjugation instead of encanta? All right, why do we use me and not yo? All right, so for our verb conjugation, we have to figure out what is it that we are delighted by. All right, or in this case, I am delighted by. I'm delighted by the sandals. Notice las sandalias is plural. All right, and then as far as the me is concerned, that indicates that it's I'm doing the liking, but we're literally saying the sandals are, I'm delighted by the sandals, or I love the sandals. We use the IOP, not subject pronoun, so that's why we used me. And then we use an for plural things that we like. So las sandalias, or las indicates that there's more than one, so we're going to use an. All right, our second sentence. Nos importa regatear en el mercado de aire libre. So how do we know that importa is the correct verb form to use? Well, we've got a verb that follows. Anytime regatear, anytime we have a verb that follows, then it's going to be our verb conjugation is going to be in the singular form. So no matter how many verbs we have, we will always use the singular form of the verb like gustar. So I can list 27 verbs after importa, and it's always going to stay importa. All right. Questions so far? Jot them down. All right. Our second example, interesar. Te interesan la pulsera, el reloj y el cinturón. Now, what's the difference between this sentence And our first one that we had, me encantan las sandalias. Notice we both of them have the plural form of our verb like gustar, encantan and interesan, but the items that follow are different. We've got a list in this case, la pulsera, el reloj, y el cinturón. So that means there's more than one item, so we are going to make that verb like gustar plural, right? So we can have a list of items to make the verb like gustar plural. Makes sense? Very good. All right. Now, on the back of your notes, I want you to go ahead and write down these following phrases. A mí me encanta el suéter. A ti te encantan las botas. And a ellos les encantan las faldas. All right. What is special about the way we use the pronouns in the sentences above? All right, so notice we've got pronouns. Me, mi, ti, ellos. So what's so special about them? We have to use that a in front. All right, we used a subject pronoun, or a kind of subject pronoun, with the word a to indicate to me, to you, to them. We still must use the IOP always, always, always. So we're always going to have that me, te, le, nos, os, or les. It depends on if we wanted to add that a with a preposition to indicate or specify who it is that we are talking about. All right, so let's take a look at our pronouns after prepositions. All right, we've got some certain rules. So a mí, a ti, a él, a ella, a usted, a nosotros or a nosotras, a vosotros or a vosotras, a ellos, a ellas, and a ustedes. Okay? So what's different between this chart or this table and our regular subject pronouns? I'm thinking of two boxes in particular that are different. If you'll notice, the yo form has a spelling change, so instead of yo, it's a mí, and very important, it has an accent there. And the to form has a spelling change as well. It is changed to ti, and there's no accent there. So instead of saying a yo, it would be correct to say a mí. All right, so I want you to go ahead and write down, copy this sentence on your notes. You are interested in the theater. She is delighted by the soup. And number 3 on your notes is different. I want you to cross out I am and put I dislike to bargain. So go ahead and just cross out I am and put I dislike to bargain. All right, now let's talk about those translations into Spanish. And I want you to use the pronouns after preposition. So go ahead and include that a phrase. So number 1 would be a ti te interesa el teatro. Our IOP is te, so our a phrase is going to be a ti. El teatro is singular, so that's why we use interesa. She is delighted by the soup. A ella le encanta la sopa. So, since we're talking about she, le, we're going to use the a ella phrase. Now, well, more often we will use our pronouns after prepositions with our le and les, because our subject could be more than one person. All right. In this case, you can also put someone's name as well. A Maria le encanta la sopa. You can put that as well. And then I dislike to bargain. If you wanted to emphasize that to me, not my gig. Me choca regatear. Okay. Again, write down any questions that you have. Now here's your opportunity to practice. Now this is going to be a little bit different, so I want you to stop here and do activity A on that 3rd page of your notes. So you're going to write in the correct form of the verb like gustar based on the sentence. Okay? We're going to go over the answers here, so when you hit pause, then you'll do the practice and then we'll go over the answers. And then I want you to do activity B on your own. All right, so I want you to create sentences based on those pictures on your own, and then we will go over them in class. Fair enough? All right, so go ahead and hit pause and do activity A now. Let's see how you did. All right. Número uno. No me fascinan libros de ciencia ficción. All right. Notice we've got libros is plural, so that's why our verb like gustar, fascinan, is going to be plural as well. Okay? Or the plural conjugation. A Jorge, notice we've got the a Jorge phrase to specify that we're talking about Jorge. No le choca hacer la tarea. Why did we choose choca instead of chocan? Because he doesn't hate to do homework. Hacer la tarea is an action. Número 3. ¿Qué sabor de helado te encanta? We're talking about what flavor of ice cream do you love? So sabor is singular, so we're going to use encanta. Número 4. Nos gustan los fines de semana. Los fines, weekends, is plural, so that's why we're going to use gustan, the plural form of gustan. All right, number 5. Les gustan días soleados. All right, notice días is plural, so we're going to use the plural conjugation of gustar. And then finally, number 6, les interesa practicar deportes. Notice there should be a question mark on your notes. We're going to use interesa because we have a verb that follows an action. Is playing sports interesting to you? Are you interested in playing sports? There are several ways that we could translate that into English. Okay, so your next step is to complete activity B, and we'll go over those answers in class. Toodles!